Harassment of women and girls on the streets and in places such as parks, on public transport and online has become routine.
A report by the House of Commons Women and Equalities Committee has found evidence that it's deeply ingrained in British culture, and the MPs are calling for a number of major changes.
According to a girls' charity, 66% of 14 to 21-year-olds have experienced unwanted sexual attention or harassment in a public space. It says it's behaviour that's got to be challenged and culture needs to change.
So the first time I experienced street harassment was just before secondary school. Actually, when I started secondary school, I was saying year 7.
I definitely have experienced street harassment, and it probably started when I was 13, 14.
I have experienced street harassment, and I think the age that I roughly started experiencing it was around 14 and 15.
Yes, I have experienced street harassment before. The age I started to experience this was when I was about 13, so like when I started to be a teenager.
I'll say from the age of puberty, around 12, 13.
I would say I experience street harassment almost every day.
I would say on a daily basis.
And that could be from, going for a walk.
Most of the times I come back home late.
Going out with my friends.
And especially in the summer when, I'm showing more skin.
Going to work, public transport. One experience I will never forget was when I was on my way to work, and on this particular day I had taken the bus. I sat at the top of the bus and like on the front bit, and there was not a lot of people on that bus, I remember. There was a few just right at the back. So yeah, I decided to sit at the front, and this middle-aged man, he sat behind my seat, and which I already found a little bit suspicious anyway. So I was listening to my music, and then I could feel like something touching my hip, and then it hit me like the guy was touching my hip. So I turned around and I just said like, "What are you doing?" And he got up and he was just like, sorry, and then he ran out of the bus.
This also happened recently. It was when I was going to the gym. I was at the bus stop, and this man came up to me, and he actually followed me, and I didn't realize. And then he came up to me and he asked me about my age, he asked for my name, and he asked where I was going to. So many questions that I was just confused, and I was scared as well because he was older than me. And yeah, at the end, when I told him to leave me alone because I wasn't like interested in talking to him, he left, and when he left, he stared at me, like he looked me up and down, and yeah, it just made me feel uncomfortable.
I also found that no one really did anything to help. No one stood up for me, so I was quite alone in that situation.
One time where I was at a bus stop and waiting for the bus, and then a van pulled up just at the bus stop and was talking to me, asking me questions about how old I am, etc. And then I asked them to leave me alone, but they weren't leaving, they just carried on speaking. And then a bus luckily pulled up just like behind the van, and then the van had to leave, but if the bus didn't obviously come, then the van wouldn't have left, which you never know what could have happened.
I feel like this has affected me in a lot of ways, where I feel like as a woman, I don't feel like I could have the right help, or if I am being approached or harassed, I don't feel like there's a lot of help out there for women like me.
That situation has affected me, I'd say, in a negative way, as in like every time I go out by myself, I feel like I'm unsafe.
I think this has affected me because it definitely has made me more wary about my surroundings. Like if I'm walking by myself, I'll always be on the phone to someone, or just make sure my emergency contacts are always available.
One experience that I did go through and I will never forget was when I was about to get grabbed inappropriately by a man.
Every time I was going to the gym, I was walking through kind of industrial area, and a lot of trucks were passing by, and every time a truck was passing by, a man was shouting something or was honking at me.
How has this affected me? And it's affected me by me not feeling safe to actually walk out in the dark on my own. Even coming back from school when it starts to get dark, things like that does scare me.
It has affected my mental health when I was younger, because it wasn't really clear to me why they would do that, like what's their purpose. And I think I just started, wearing more clothes, hiding parts of my body because I was scared.
I think it's taken somewhat of a toll on my mental health. Like for instance, it's made me more anxious about like when I'm walking by myself, in the dark, if I'm walking by myself, just making sure that, again, I'm always on the phone to someone. Or like you just get scared or paranoid when you're walking by yourself, like if there was someone behind you.
I am cautious about what I wear because there's always going to be men or even boys my age that are going to be staring at me. Like I can't wear a crop top without getting stared at. I can't wear a pair of like shorts because of that as well. Like I always have to look at what I'm wearing.
I'm not conscious of what I'm wearing anymore because I am not gonna make myself smaller because of them.
I think I'm definitely a bit more cautious about what I wear, especially when it comes to summertime, because of course it's getting hotter. You're not exactly going to be wearing tracksuit and like a hoodie. You're just going to be a bit like, you'll be a bit more cautious like when wearing more revealing clothes.
I find that I have to be careful what I wear. So if I wear a little bit more revealing clothes out there, I find that, a lot of harassment out there happens, even without that, to be honest. But a woman shouldn't have to feel, like I shouldn't wear this because this can happen to me one day.
Smile. What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you. They're beautiful. She said, hey, hey, baby. Hey, beautiful. How are you this morning? Have a nice evening. Nice. Damn.
I was never in a situation where I had to call the police because of harassment, but many friends of mine did. There's one specific one that comes to my mind. A friend of mine was in an Uber and he started touching her and flirting with her. Somehow she managed to get off and she told the police, but it never got anywhere because they had more important things to do with.
Me personally, I think the police would be my second point of contact. I think my first point of contact would be a family or friend who is close by, just in case something does happen. Then we all know the police take quite a long time to arrive to a scene. So yes, my first point of contact would not be the police, it would be a family or friend.
I find it sad that I have to suggest women how to defend themselves in the street, but what I would suggest to them is be on the phone with your friends, your boyfriend, your family. Send someone your live location. always walk in busy streets.
What I would recommend for women to do is maybe take self-defense classes, just in case something does actually happen. You're not completely helpless in the situation. You do know how to protect yourself if you have got these techniques from these self-defense classes.
So I would recommend for women to do it whilst they're being harassed, to maybe start shouting and be extremely loud, because that's how you get everyone's attention, like on the street or like wherever you are. And yeah, that's when people are gonna come where you are, and of course when there's people around, you're gonna feel safe, I guess, because you're not gonna be by yourself.